Two changes for Thomas Tuchel, and both of those changes in the back line. Gahey comes in for Stones, and Jed Spence comes in for O'Reilly at that left back position. Jordan Pickford in the goal once again. He makes his 86th appearance for England and has played every minute of every match for them in the last 2 World Cups. No changes in that front six. Anderson, Rice, what a game that midfield had, and Jude Bellingham with the goal that really started that second half off well for this English team. Carlos Queiroz on the other side, making 3 changes to their opening day lineup. Semenyo maintains his place on the left-hand side. Remains to be seen if this will be 5 in the back or 4. I think it's going to be more of a 4-5-1 with Renchi playing in the midfield where he did in that last one. He became the second youngest player in Ghanaian history to score in the World Cup in that late winner against Panama. They kept the clean sheet. That is important for them. And then the other big change, Iñaki Williams starts up front.
It's a terrific scene in Foxborough. It is a very open, exposed to the elements type stadium. It is Thomas Tuchel who got off to a terrific start to his career coaching at major tournaments for England. One of the things he talked about yesterday was essentially trying to stay out of the way, let these players play. Carlos Queiroz on the other side was coaching on this field 30 years ago at the old Foxborough Stadium. He was the head coach in 1996 of the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars in the first season of Major League Soccer. He is at his 5th straight World Cup as a head coach of 3 different nations. Winner of this game will walk out of here knowing for sure they'll be in the knockout round next week. They have a chance, based on what happens later in Toronto between Croatia and Panama, to go to bed tonight knowing they will do so as group stage winners. We start 2 tomorrow, get 2 simultaneous kickoffs, the final round of games in the group stage. And if anything so far, it's been too straightforward for England. A complaint from an English journalist in the elevator on the way up. There's no drama, there's no controversy, no injury concerns. Can they keep that going? Or can Ghana cause a surprise, create some chaos here? It will be a rainy afternoon here in New England. And as you can see, it is 90% England fans here in Foxborough. With the countdown to the supporters, 65,000 full. We're underway. It's England wearing white. It's Ghana in yellow. And it was chaotic in the first half in Dallas last week. If you remember, twice Harry Kane scored, twice Croatia tied it up, but England hit a different gear in the second half to roll out 4-2 winners. And what everyone expects was the hardest game for them in the group stage. So they come in with confidence, they come in with control. Ghana on the other side, it was a very slow burn. They didn't get a shot in the first half against Panama last week in Toronto, and it was the latest goal they'd ever scored. 90+5 to win the game. But it's the first time since 2010 Ghana had won their opener. 2010 was the last time Ghana made the knockout stage, so they've given themselves a chance. Ghana have never beaten England. It would be a huge shock, but as we know, the English historically struggle here in Massachusetts. So what happens here today? And what's the look from Ghana as we talked about? What do we expect the pattern of the game to be?
Well, one of the big notes and the changes from the Ghanaian perspective is a change in goal. Asare gets the start in that goalkeeping position. I thought it might be a 4 in the back, and it is. It is a 4-5-1. Ayu will play as that lone striker. They're not going to try and press high up the field. They're going to try to force England to break down this defensive team. And this was a Ghanaian team coming into this tournament that had been really struggling defensively. But they get a clean sheet and they get a win in that opening match against Panama. Now they're dreaming of the knockout stages. For an English team, how do you pick up off of that impressive win, that 4-2 win against Croatia, where they were so dynamic, so good with the ball? They're going to get a different look, though, now, and have to break down a deeper line defense.
And you can see the way the England players right now are gesticulating and trying to figure out what the pathway is through this packed-in Ghana team.
And they will have expected this, too. This is not unexpected against this Ghanaian team. And they have played against teams like this before. This is where Thomas Tuchel's tactics will be very important. These midfield rotations. Reece James, Jude Bellingham, Madueke on this near side. And I'm just watching the movement between the 3 of them to try to find pockets for Bellingham, making runs beyond the back line.
Here's Jude Bellingham dropping all the way deep and wide. Ghana haven't touched the ball, but England haven't gotten within 40 yards of Ghana's goal yet. Long out to Reece James. There's Nani Madueke. Now he's going to be isolated on Gideon Mensah. Some support coming now from Sibo. Now they find Bellingham in a little pocket of space. Kane had withdrawn, so there was nothing further forward. And Ghana, 3.5 minutes in, are going to have their first possession of the ball here as it goes out for a throw.
It's going to be an interesting balance for this English team today in a game like this where, look, the conditions really suit, I think, the way they want to play, which is quickly moving the ball from side to side, little transitions, little combinations. But from a Ghanaian perspective, it will be important for them to have stretches with the ball, as that's a good-looking ball out here to this near side.
Gideon Mensah running forward. Antoine Semenyo, so much pressure and expectation on him after that monster season. Second half of which was with Manchester City in the Premier League. Thomas Partey will be booed every time he touches the ball today. We'll explain why in a moment. As it comes over the top, that's an offside flag that's up. Inaki Williams, who missed it anyway.
Yeah, pretty clearly offside. Good job by the English line there, staying together and connected, but it is a thought for them as this game goes on, and Williams will try to make those runs in behind. If you do not have pressure from the front on the ball, you cannot play that high of a line with that much space between the back line and Jordan Pickford.
He's the older brother of Nico Williams of Spain. He didn't play in the opener for Ghana. Madueke quickly moves along for Bellingham, takes the bump. Ball stays in play, it's not a foul. It's recovered by Reece James. Madueke, then that is going to be a foul. Mossy Sibo.
And what I was about to say for Ghana, they got away with the first one and ended up making a good challenge. And as I was about to say before they made the foul, you cannot give this English team an opportunity from set pieces. We saw in the first match how dangerous they are and how effective they were against Croatia, scoring a goal. Declan Rice, you see it week after week with Arsenal in the Premier League. They have so much height attacking the ball, and when you want to play in a block and you feel like you can limit them to opportunities, this is a situation where you cannot. And you have to try to really stay in a tight block, keep your marks, because they have so many good and big targets attacking the ball.
Declan Rice set. Not going to pass the first man. Semenyo heads away. He's given right to Jordan Ayew, all-time appearance leader now for Ghana. Inside, and that was good recovery running by Anthony Gordon to break it up. Good by Anderson Gordon, able to bring that down, keep it in play before it's tackled up by Sanaya. Harry Kane, as we saw last week in Dallas, he'll pop up all over the field, doing all sorts of things for England. It's a great switch of the field to Madueke. James was making the run inside.
Those are really good balls, though. I think those will be really effective switches of play if you can get your wingers isolated 1v1. And right now, Thomas Tuchel wants both of his wingers hugging this touchline.
Big step forward there. Poku tackle, and both players are hurt. There'll be a free kick for Ghana on the way.
Bellingham just a little bit late. He ends up catching his face as part of that. This is that cross-field ball. And as I was saying, Madueke is staying high and wide. Anthony Gordon on this far left side staying high and wide. And the reason you do that is to create some separation between you and that fullback. And if he comes and tries to get tight with you, well, then that opens up space that he doesn't want to open up between the gap and the left back and the left center back. So that is a key. If they can get their wingers 1v1, it really opens up the defensive structure of Ghana.
And Thomas Tuchel, as the rain increases a little bit here in Foxborough, has got the jacket and the hat on. Great work there to recover that ball. Williams back in for Sanaya, trying to turn the corner on the byline, and he's just eased off of it there by Elliot Anderson. You imagine those moments will be few and far between today for Ghana.
It's a transition game for them, truly. Look, we're content without the ball, which you can see. They're not high pressing. They understand if they try to come out of this block that England will just open them up. So they're going to try and stay compact, committed, together. But when they get the ball, just watch how quickly they try to accelerate. So transition defending will be very key for England in the moments where maybe they force it, the ball turns over. It's going to be a lot on Elliot Anderson in the middle of the field.
Gordon dummies for Rice, who returns. Anthony Gordon. He's knocked off the ball well there. It's cleared away. So Jetty was all the way out there. It was almost Jordan Ayew escaping with it. And Ezri Konsa was able to recover that for England. And now Rice trying to open this up somehow. Long switch for Madueke. It will be an England throw. Couldn't get inside of Mensah. It's so wildly different from the pattern of the game, the pace of the game last week in Dallas against Croatia. It's going to find Harry Kane. The return for Jude Bellingham. A lot of traffic in there. And in the end, Ghana can't build a counterattack, but they were at least able to repel the closest England have got to their goal today.
Yeah, outside of the wingers, England actually stacking a lot of numbers in the middle of the field, trying to create areas where they can get little quick combinations like that. And a lot of that is on Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice, who's really only a midfielder by name today. He's going to be playing very high. You see him trying to take up positions in behind the Ghanaian midfield. And at times will drop, and then when he drops, Anderson goes forward. This team is very in sync in their movements.
There's Rice there. Madueke. Reece James for company. Hooks the cross in instead. And now he's trying to do anything completely on his own up there, and Ezri Konsa shut that down. It's interesting how subdued the England fans are and how much you can really hear the talk on the field. Madueke isolated with Mensah. Madueke rolls in, Reece James to the ball, and cuts it out, stabbed away. That was Partey, last chance defending there. That woke up the England fans. A little bit of pressure. And he had to weave through. Harassing Reece James there. Bellingham keeps it moving. Gordon tripped up from behind. Another set piece here in a decent area for England.
Sanaya just a little overly aggressive. Thinks he can win the ball off Anthony Gordon. Tries to come around the outside of him. This was the movement when Madueke started to come back towards his own goal. That cued then Reece James to make that run diagonally right behind the back line of Ghana. Tried to square it across. It's a game of patience, even for a guy like Harry Kane, where you want to get on the ball and he can drop deep. He's not going to be able to drop too deep in a game like this. You need to keep him high, occupying center backs, and he has to be patient for his touches to appear in the box, and that one chance he gets, he expects to bury.
Benjamin Asari, as you mentioned, is the backup goalkeeper playing because of an injury to Lawrence Ati-Ziggy. He plays in Ghana for Hearts of Oak. He's 33. First time Ghana have ever had a Ghanaian-based goalkeeper start for them in a World Cup game. And an increasingly steady drizzle in Foxborough. He's getting set to defend this free kick for England. Roll short, it's fired to the traffic and blasted over in the end. Declan Rice said yesterday he's playing with a ton of confidence right now. He went close.
And you're trying to just roll this to shift it to get an angle for him around the wall. Goes for power, just gets a touch on the bottom part of it, and the ball is rising. Set pieces might be an area again, but England can find a way through. Those fouls around the box, Ghana have to be very careful with.
It's the first shot of the game for England. Just shy of a quarter hour in. Here in Foxborough, Massachusetts, Harry Kane takes a knock to the head, and the challenge there with Jonas Ajete. And Harry Kane is down. Real concern here, and Said Martinez of Honduras really whistled for a foul. Johnny Infantino, John Terry looks like in there. We've got so much water on the monitor, it's hard to see for sure.
He's starting to really check it down now.
And as you see, game 116 in an England shirt for Harry Kane. He passes Sir David Beckham. Only Peter Shilton and former DC United star and head coach Wayne Rooney are above him in England's all-time appearance list. Remember, he scored twice last week, 10 career World Cup goals, tied with Gary Lineker for England's all-time World Cup goal-scoring record. Kane is already the overall scoring record leader. One of the chances, it comes into the middle here. And after the block, it's cleared away. It was Rice doing a good work there to create that opportunity.
Yeah, just great endeavor and running and commitment from Declan Rice there. Gets stuck into two tackles. Now you're past two defenders. Now Ghana's out of shape a little bit. They just couldn't quite work the angle to get a shot. And credit to this Canadian defense once again, when that angle was there, getting bodies out and commitment to stop that shot and getting a clear shot at Asari's goal. That's another wonderful pass.
Anthony Gordon on the receiving end. Sanaya waiting for him defensively. Gordon. They find a way through. Rolls it back in for Anderson instead. Gordon now for Jet Spence. Spence for the byline, cutting it back, knocked down. Declan Rice, tight angle, blocked it behind. It's an England corner and throw to the game.
It's a good block from Ajiti at the end of this. Once again, it's your fullback who's basically playing as a left winger. Jet Spence takes a little gamble because Anthony Gordon attracted two defenders. That left the space there in behind. But once again, Ghana standing strong, blocking shots around the goal.
England created so much from corners in particular in the last game. They got their opening penalty off a foul on a recycled corner. They had one that Nico O'Reilly missed on a good look. Declan Rice at the heart of so much of it.
Got a lot of guys at the top of the box, England, that might arrive late on this set piece because of Ghana have everybody inside the 18-yard box.
Rice deep. Prevents him from being another corner there. Reece James wanted to go quick, just didn't have a good option. Well, that's about probably what that graphic and statistic will look like throughout much of the day. James from Bellingham, who wants it back. James gets a cross in instead. Jordan Ayew in a huge wrestling match there with Ezri Konsa and wins a free kick for Ghana.
Ayew's smart here. He's almost gripping the right hand of Konsa as well to make sure he keeps a hold of him and then is able to, he's very strong. And you can see he pins him too constant trying to win that ball back, being aggressive. And just that free kick is going to allow Ghana to push some numbers up the field.
So Thomas Partey being booed every time he touches the ball. It's related to the reason why he didn't play in the opener, as it comes over the top and a little bit of pressure there. That's going to be a foul and a free kick for England. But just to close the loop on that, Thomas Partey is facing a series of very serious, very distressing criminal charges. He will face trial either later this year or next year in the UK. It comes from his time at Arsenal. He has pled not guilty. He has denied the accusations. But the Canadians would not grant him a visa to come to Toronto to join the team for their opening game in their country. It's part of why he's being booed on every touch here today. But that's the context for that part of the story for Ghana. Anderson. Ryan had it and lost it. It was Partey who came in to tackle it away. And really it amplifies things from a Ghanaian perspective. The fact that they beat Panama right at the end. They knew they had to win that game. That was the most important thing to start. 0-0 is a wonderful result for them.
Yeah, absolutely. They're playing for a
position of confidence and strength right now.
If it wasn't obvious enough, they're playing for a point. And this was a team that was in a complete disarray coming into this tournament. They were winless in 6 matches. They changed their coach. They had 2 coaches throughout the qualifying campaign. Even before that, they bring in a version of a specialist, Carlos Queiroz, who's now head coached. This is his 5th time in a World Cup as a head coach. And so he's a defensive organizational coach, and he did that. They got a clean sheet game 1. They get a win. So they're just hoping to get anything out of this match, and they recognize their strength is in their defense.
James crossing in, and that's Asari. Hasn't had a ton to do in the opening 20 minutes with a good, comfortable catch. And Ghana aren't even at full strength. They're missing 2 potential starters at center back because of injury. Mohamed Kudus of Tottenham Hotspur, who was at a tough head collision there. Jordan Ayew was on one half of it. Second time today we've had a bad head-to-head collision. Reece James was the other. And those 2 will get looked at right now.
Yeah, both clashing heads the exact same time. This will be interesting how the referee handles this, because you're not supposed to come over and have conversations at different moments with the benches, or at least when the goalkeeper is down. A lot of these initiatives they've been putting out about but it's a fairly subdued atmosphere in here right now. I think largely in part to the way the game has been going. This was one of the chances for England off the set piece. It's rolled back. Declan Rice striking over to test Asari.
You do wonder here if referee Said Martinez might take the opportunity to just call for the hydration break now. Instead, he's telling the players, no, don't come to the benches. But we are nowhere closer to getting James and Ayew back into a place where they can continue.
And he's trying to say, look, we're close to the hydration break. We're a couple minutes away. But as you said, I don't think there's any end in sight. As Ayew is up, but Reece James is still down on the ground.
You see Jude Bellingham celebrating his 50th England appearance today. He was 17 and a half years old in the fall of 2020. He was the 3rd youngest to debut for England. As you saw there, he's the youngest to reach 50 appearances. Reece James is still getting looked at. Suffered an injury just before the last World Cup and had to miss it. He had an injury issue this spring as well that he had to race to get back fit for this opportunity. Jordan getting patched up. He passed his brother Andre in the opener for the most games played in Ghana's history. Their dad, Abedi, known as Pele, is maybe the greatest Ghanaian player of all time. It's an incredible family. Dad and 2 sons. Jordan is at his 3rd World Cup. Good to see Reece James walking off the field. And again, the expectation is this game will restart and then just as quickly stop again for the hydration break. And not that we were really having a scintillating pace anyway, but this has slammed everything to a halt.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up, though, is I think sometimes when you see a team that is dominant, as the English have been, and are clearly the superior group, 11 players, you see a team behind the ball, how have they not scored yet? It is incredibly difficult to play against teams like this that try to frustrate you or are committed to defending. And it takes patience, because that one moment that you try to force the ball or you take a little bit of a liberty, you're a little bit too comfortable, that's what the opponent wants. That's what Ghana want in transition. So for England, it is a game of patience. Sure, can they move the ball a little bit quicker? Yes. Can they be a little bit more aggressive and take a few more chances? Yes. But they feel right now quite content the way the game is going and expect to ramp this game up as it goes.
So that was ruled by the assistant referee, a throw-in for Ghana. Then Saeed Martinez said no, in fact, there was a foul just before that Gehi drew. So that's why England have the free kick. Reece James restarted there immediately. Jordan Ayew was still getting patched up. In fact, he's set up in kind of a different position right now, all the way out wide to the near side. That's when Semenya was furthest forward. It's clipped long by Anderson. Nweke trying to get in behind. Good header run by Mensah. There's Ayew now with his head patched up. The expectation would be the next dead ball would be the hydration break. We'll find out, see for sure. Anthony Gordon. Couldn't find Kane. Sibo pops it in the air. Rice brings it down in traffic. And twice the attempted clearance as it bounced off Sibo for Ghana. Bellingham. It's really of anyone moving for him.
And honestly, this might be a hydration that Thomas Tuchel would really be looking forward to be able to try to tweak a few things.
James crossing in easily that way. Semenya up there 1v3, and he's taken immediately off the ball. Tries to tackle it back. And he commits a foul in so doing.
That was interesting, actually. Declan Rice was coming over to take that set piece and use that as an opportunity to swing one in. England played it quickly.
The Canadian fans down to a right, and they're really frustrated right now with some of these referee decisions. Is that one just going to be cleared out? And that will take us to our first half hydration break. And the fans who depends on doing it's going to become a theme throughout this tournament. But Ghana doing what Ghana wants to do so far, frustrating England scoreless here in Foxborough midway through the first half.
Fans, please stay hydrated. Water refilling stations are available at 3 locations throughout the venue. Visit misting stations to lower body temperature. Visit the Atlanta United Lounge with the Georgia Power Misters and report any signs of heat illness to event staff.
In this place, strength means something different. It means us all being together and doing our thing. In this place,
Jeff Shreves is with us enjoying the English sunshine down in the field. Jeff, what are you seeing and hearing there on the hydration break?
Let's be honest, that whole passage of play was a farce, wasn't it? Because the teams wandered over to their coaches during the head injury, and Thomas Tuchel speaking mainly to Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane. The fourth official did nothing. You can understand the referee overseeing the head injuries, but he kind of said all he had to say then. So now, in the actual break, he was not as animated as he normally is, although he was getting to Jed Spence in a way. It looked like he was telling him to get down that flank. He was gesticulating along those lines. But to be honest with you, he's just given two talks, the half-time team talk.
Cheers, Jeff. David Beckham looks on. From a Ghanaian perspective, what are they doing well so far?
They're really closing the ball down around the box. So as England have that possession in their half, that's fine. As soon as they break that initial line of the midfield, they're converging on the ball well. They're rotating, they're shifting. And most importantly, they're together. That's when you commit to this style, you have to be together. Because if one guy gets beat, as I said, if you can 1v1 from an English perspective, beat that first man off the dribble, then it opens up the space. I'm curious, because in that hydration break, I saw Thomas Tuchel talking a lot to his back line. And I'm wondering if he's going to commit an extra number to the attack potentially. And he was saying to Mark Gay, if the ball starts to break, you've got to stop that counter. You've got to stop that transition. So maybe they're willing to be a little bit more aggressive now going forward and releasing another player as part of that.
It was one of the things that we were talking about pregame with Jeff Shreves, the fact that England had this massive win against Iran in the opening game at the last World Cup. The scoreless draw with the U.S. after. And the idea that can they try to keep some of this momentum going, even as they understand they're hoping to be here for a while, they're hoping to have a deep run. There was so much momentum and positive feeling in Dallas after the win against Croatia. Harry Kane saying afterwards that was one of his favorite moments playing for England was the fans singing Wonderwall in the stadium. And so can England try to build some momentum back out of the break? Jed Spence, one of their lineup changes today, going to carry forward. As Anthony Gordon up there as he rides the challenge of Inaki Williams. That's a great tackle by Sanaya. Didn't hear the footsteps coming though. Try and draw a free kick, does draw a free kick. Now coming up next here on Fox up in Toronto, Luka Modric in Croatia taking on Panama. They'll be right after our game here on Fox, the other game in the group. There are scenarios where Croatia would be eliminated from contention tonight. Depending on what happens in that game, what happens in this game, there's also scenarios where they come roaring back and get a big win over Panama. And trying to build back up another deep run, having reached the semifinal each of the last two World Cups. And similarly for Panama, they were right there against Ghana in their second ever World Cup appearance. Can they find a way against Croatia in game number 2? Another free kick coming here for Ghana just past the half-hour mark. Jordan Ayew with his head bandaged after that head-to-head collision with Reece James to take. They're going to push Mighty
I was just waiting to see if they would do that. It felt like this is the chance to do it. Ajiti comes up now from the back. They've got almost everybody up. Now England's got everybody back. They're going to try and drive this one to that far side of the box.
Ayew, it's exactly where it goes. It's a strong header run by Gehi, and it's going to be a foul in there anyway.
I think the thing for England now to start thinking about solving this defensive shape from Ghana, you've got to have guys, you've got to get Jude Bellingham more involved, playing in the pocket, that space in behind the midfield in front of the back line. It's very tight. The ball, defenders converge on you very quickly. It's why I think in the second half, if this score remains, you will see guys like Rodgers, you'll see Saka at some point, who's going to play a little bit wider and can open up the game 1v1. But that's what you need. You need guys with space to take you off the dribble. You also need guys like Bellingham to get the ball in the pockets to get turned to slip passes or to combine with Harry Kane. But as you can see, right in the middle of your screen, Ghana have those three midfielders just sitting in that space and covering it. So it's incredibly hard to find him. He looks very frustrated right now. His body language, he just can't get on the ball.
Declan Rice looking for an opening. It's not there. It's wide to Madueke. Madueke cuts it in, finds his support, pings it out, falls to Jude Bellingham, blocked. James first to the loose ball. Jet Spence. Reset for Madueke. Hitting Mensah again, the primary defender. The crosses, hopefully that's going to be sent sideways. Sanaya sliding across. Good strength by Mensah to get in there on the ball. Looked like he was tripped up. No call. Three England players hunting him. Ghana won a free kick. And look at the way the Ghana subs and their bench as well. And now their fans to our right are roaring at all these little moments.
How good is that from Mensah? That little movement there where he gets his right leg out just to protect the ball. And then here's another great one. Two bodies coming to crash and stop the shot at the top of the box. But Madueke is starting to make some stuff happen. When they find him early, he's 1v3 sometimes, but still has the confidence to take guys on. That type of aggressiveness has opened up the field and opened up the ball. It pops to Bellingham. So even if you don't get past all three, which is very hard to do, as you know, here's a little bit of space maybe for some transition. Get it to Gordon early.
Anderson opened it up for Spence, who rolls it ahead for Anthony Gordon. Sanaya defending him. Gordon, great cutback, crosses it in, headed away, that was Partey. Murenchi overhits the outlet ball for Jordan Ayew. Anderson up the seam for Gordon, good tackle by Sanaya. Miscontrols. Jude Bellingham trying to get the England fans to make some noise. And as we say, stats can be deceiving. They're completing a lot of passes, but they're really struggling to get particularly close to Ghana's goal. They've got 3 shots so far, England. 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go into half. Spencer wait for Gordon on the overlap before coming back in for Gahey. Semenyo with some pressure. He just got that away. Rocky Williams. Gordon keeps it in play. Tackled out by Sanaya.
Well, it is a credit to this Canadian team and their coach, Karis Kirosh. Because a lot of the tape watching Ghana in the lead up to this, just organizationally, they were a mess. Not connected, ill-disciplined in different moments, getting stretched out of positions. But this is a team right now that every player seems to understand their role and they're committed to that.
Madueke to the byline, got there, crosses it, back ball, terrible, moved over. Again, Madueke is creating a lot of that time. Rice just couldn't get over it.
Because he can go left or right, and he wants to come left, but that time he was showing the line and says, you're going to send me down to my right? Fine. Goes to the end line, chips a nice ball to the back post, and it's Declan Rice with a late run from the midfield. Just jumped a little too early. Thomas Tuchel likes that.
But Ghana lost 5-1 to Austria in March. It was their worst loss in almost 20 years. And when they were beaten by the Germans a few days later, they fired their head coach. That's why Carlos Queiroz is in charge now. Even the warm-up game, the send-off game in Wales, needing a morale-boosting win, they had it until the last moment when they conceded a goal in a 1-1 draw. So they came with no positivity whatsoever, really, into this World Cup, even as the expectations in Ghana are sky high. The expectations in Ghana are that they're going to repeat what they did last in 2010, make the knockout rounds. Antoine Semenyo has talked about just the weight of the pressure that comes from Ghana and the hopes and dreams of the fans. It's going to be a handball there and a free kick for Ghana in the middle.
And a little bit of a roar you heard right before that was the Ghanaian fans celebrating every free kick they win, every tackle they win. So they understand how their team is playing in this game. They understand what's at stake as well by getting a point in this game and the position it would put this team in. That's a nice looking ball. Not a great little touch.
Sanaya there. Picked Ghana over Togo. He's born in France. One parent from Ghana, one parent from Togo. He said it's a pretty easy choice. I'm going to go to the team that's going to the World Cup. And then he debuted in that historic 5-1 loss against Austria in March. The other side, of course, from England. There was a lot of noise around them in the first half. It was 2-2. Remember, Croatia scored with the last touch of the first half, and yet they hit an extra gear in the second half that Croatia just could not match. And Anaya was going to come out of that with a free kick as he was tied up with Anderson.
I think Carlos Queiroz's argument is here is this is not the first foul of that nature by Elliot Anderson in the middle. He feels there should be a yellow card for accumulation and persistent infringement, and also 2 fouls that break up counterattacks.
Coming up, the Visa halftime show on Fox. Rebecca and the team in Los Angeles, Jules and her strike force here in Foxborough. Going from all angles at the half. Rice gets the loose ball first. Peter Tete to it. Clipped in towards Bellingham, header away. Jete. Anderson comes through, knocks it down, gets it back from Bellingham. Anthony Gordon, and it's going to be offside. That ends the threat.
And so the big question for England really going into halftime is, well, how long do you wait to try to change the dynamic of the team and bring on some subs? As you can see, Bellingham is offside. Coming back from that one a little late. Good step, good counter pressure from Elliot Anderson. He's been all over the field. I thought he was excellent in the first match for them. Benjamin Sare. That cheer is Sir David Beckham being shown on the big screen inside the stadium here.
It's one of the things that Harry Kane said to Jeff Shreves after the opener in Dallas, that Thomas Tuchel at halftime told the England team, if we're going to lose, we lose our way. We attack, we're aggressive. You saw that in the tactics, you saw that in the substitutions that England made.
Yeah, I just think this game for them is calling for a different profile of player that can combine and play quick combinations in the line. And even more 1v1 type of guys, but it means they're going to take a little bit more of a risk. And I don't think that's in jeopardy as...
Ghana's bench is furious.
This time. You know, it's also important to note that while that might be Declan Rice's first foul, persistent infringement can carry across multiple different players. And he just happens to be the man now on the end of a 4th or 5th successive foul from an English perspective. We're going to milk the clock a little bit here, too.
And that was the end of a 60-yard sprint for Rice. Trying to hunt the ball back.
And it's pretty clear. It is a foul on breaking the top of the ankle.
Again, though, Ghana aren't really able to do anything with the possession they get. Although Semenyo throws a body into James. He skips away from Anderson. Semenyo in the box. And towards Semenyo. Poked away before he could shoot. Held in by Ayo. Anderson forced to play it before Pickford could come out to get it. Looked like Conza there with the tackle a moment ago. Ayo in a wrestling match down in the corner. Ghana throw. Those are the Ghana fans you hear. Down to our right on the other end of the field. You can see some of them in the background of that shot right there. As Semenyo gets the throw in deep. The bounce out to him. Semenyo one way then the other. And that'll be a corner for Ghana. First of the game.
Antoine Semenyo coming off a terrific season for both Bournemouth and then a big money transfer to Manchester City. Didn't slow down the goal scoring. He can create goals for himself. So powerful as well in running. Technically so good, good balance. Was able just to get a couple English defenders to commit. Fires one towards the goal, and it's led to the first corner now of the game for Ghana. Something right here at the end of the first half.
Jordan sends it in. On there in a yellow shirt. Also with the clearing header. Put it back in. It was right to Reece James, although he sliced the ball up in the air. Sibo won the header, and that worked well to find your end sheet. He is the one who scored Ghana's 95th minute winner against Panama. Clever footwork there by Partey. Ayu couldn't do anything with it initially. It's going to still be in play. It's still in play now. It's still in play, despite what Reece James seems to think. But he's able to connect the pass with Madueke, and England come out of there with it. But a little flurry, a little burst there from Ghana. Panama and Croatia in Toronto next, here on Fox, the other game in the group. England will finish in Panama. They'll feel very confident in that game. Against Panama, Ghana against Croatia. Bellingham down off the chest, poked away.
It's something they've been missing throughout this first half. While you might not get the ball, you need to make these types of runs. Look at Bellingham, right side of the screen. He makes a 30-yard sprint, sees the gap between the center backs and Mensah, and just darts right through it. Long ball over the top, brings it in, but it leads to this corner. That's what they need more of in the second half is runners. You can't just have your wingers all the time wide. You still got to try to challenge that back line over the top.
6 added minutes, the hydration break, and the 2 head-to-head collisions we've seen in the first half. And this can all feel very, very different in the break. From an English perspective, if Declan Rice can drop this onto ahead of a teammate, as he's done so many times this season at Arsenal. Rice runs sideways. Just blasted away by Gideon Mensah. One of the few things Jordan Pickford's been able to do today. Come out and make a 50-yard sprint to collect the ball, and he's going to try to spray it right back out wide to Madueke. Mensah having none of that. And whoever wins this game, if we have a winner, will clinch their spot in the next round. Scenarios for both where, if the result goes their way later tonight in the other game, they could go into their finale knowing for sure they're top of the group, same as the United States situation. Scenarios where each of Croatia or Panama could in fact be eliminated by the end of the night. Madueke. First time in a while we've seen Harry Kane get a touch. Bellingham is just trying to find a spot where he can receive the ball. He does there. Madueke. That was deflected. It's going to find Bellingham. It's a great turn inside, and he just runs out of room. Benjamin Asare has not really had a ton to do today. He came on at the half in the opening game, made 3 saves as he and Lawrence Antezigi shared the shutout.
touched on this earlier about just the confidence that Ghana will have going into the break. If they can keep this at 0-0.
As it comes into Rice, and now Harry Kane, and now Harry Kane blocked. 3 Ghanaian players between he and goal was out for a corner.
And just a double celebration right there in the back. If was right, and that's the first time a nice little one-touch pass to find that line-breaking pass initially. Then Rice finds Kane. Kane shifts it on the left foot, and then bodies blocking. I think it's Ajiti at the end who gets that last touch on it. But now they've got a corner to defend, and their shot blocking has been excellent. When any of those little half chances have presented themselves for England.
Now 2.5 minutes still to be played before the break. Declan Rice into the near post. Strong header away there by Sanaya. It's an interesting reminder as well of how different one game can be from another, based on the opponent, the matchup, the pattern of play. Because this is wildly different. As it finds Madueke there, 1v5 in the box. Madueke can't do anything with it. Samuel couldn't get out. Lift for Gordon intercepted.
That's the spot that I'm talking about. He would have to try to find. But then that's also the example I've been saying about, look, when you get the ball in that space, how Ghana just converge. 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders around Madueke. He's trying to find space. He's trying to get the shot off. But that first pass was great. Takes 2 midfielders out, and then 2 more yellow shirts came over and just made life difficult for him.
1 minute to go here in the half. I'm sorry. Rifles that into Ayu, is able to hold it up and connect the pass, and comes in now to Urenchi. Back out to Iñaki Williams. Oku's ball was a bit sideways there from Ayu. That forces Ghana back a bit. And then Poku gets caught late there by Bellingham. You heard the shout. He pops back up. There's no foul. Or is it going to come back, in fact, for a foul? It is. So that was Said Martinez, the referee, waiting to see if anything came of the long ball. It didn't. And then he blows the whistle. And that might just be the last play of the half. A little bit of frustration there from Jude Bellingham. Quite a bit of frustration from this England team. And it's certainly not job done. It's only the first half. As we said, England hit another gear in the second half of their opener last week. But Ghana will be very, very pleased at the work that they have put in so far. That's the end of the half here in Foxborough. Rebecca Lowe, over to you in our studio in Los Angeles. 45 minutes down, 45 to go in Massachusetts. No score between England and Ghana.
John and Stu, thank you very much. So, plenty of possession for England, very few clear-cut chances. Ghana defending brilliantly. Alexi Lalas, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Thierry Henry on what is happening in that first 45. Plus, we'll be in Boston to hear from Jules Breach, Clarence Seedorf, and Peter Schmeichel as well. That's all coming up in our halftime show.
Hey soccer fans, don't forget to check out the Decatur Watch Fest merch tent for your selection of cool t-shirts, hand fans, water bottles, and much more. There are beer and food vendors in the food court area, another bar near the restrooms, and one in the sponsor area under the trees. A large collection of restrooms can be found to the left of the stage behind the new permanent restrooms. For important announcements, upcoming matches, last-minute schedule changes, weather alerts, and more fun content, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Decatur Watch Fest 26. Again, that's Decatur Watch Fest 26. Maybe you'll even see yourself featured on one of our pages. Decatur Watch Fest fans, on your way in and out of the festival, check out the fun shops and boutiques around the square and throughout Decatur. So many fun finds and can't miss items. For a list of great locations, check out Decatur Visitor Center website by scanning the QR code on the screen.
Where conflict and bloodshed have reigned for years. Where sickness and neglect have afflicted generations. Where desperation and pain have been the rule. The Carter Center is there. Where access to information sets women free. Where everyone can vote in fair and honest elections. Where human rights are respected and ancient diseases are conquered. The Carter Center is there. For over 4 decades, across more than 80 countries, we have been there, leading the way toward a better, healthier, more compassionate world, waging peace, fighting disease, building hope. Be there with us.
First-time attendees can claim complimentary tickets while seats left. Just fill out the form and claim your tickets. This is more than more. This is who we are. Feel the energy, the crowd, the passion of Atlanta United at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on us. Cleveland, away. This is Atlanta United.
Reality says the odds are stacked against us. To think our men can ever raise the world's biggest trophy. Be the first soccer team to beat them in football. But here's the thing about us. Refusing to accept reality is kind of our thing. Reality told us to stay grounded. We built planes. We walked on the road. Reality told us not to dream, but we stand united, chasing legacy. Being unrealistic, that's not a flaw. It's a force. It's a fuel. When the world says you won't, our fans say, I believe that we will win. We haven't lifted every men's trophy yet, but we have played this fight for decades, with enough grit to make the doubters eat their words. And when we spill blood in the name of the crest, it's not blind belief. It's how we play. The U.S. way. So no, we're not realistic at all. And we're proud of that. Because if you want to be great and make history, chase dreams. Chase greatness. Chase legacy. Never chase reality.
In this place, strength means something different. It means us all being together and doing our thing.
as we head into the second half between England and Ghana. Thomas Tuchel out in his technical area already, way before any of the England players have even stepped foot back out here. Peter, what do you think that suggests?
I think he's had enough team talks because he had that little break before with the head injuries, and then he had the hydration break, and then only 20 minutes later he had the halftime. I don't know. It's what it is.
Sometimes it's about the players themselves as well, talking with themselves, right? As a coach, I think it's about getting some strategy and tactics right, but in the end, the players need to take responsibility.
But England are coming out now, and if we remember back to the Croatia game in Dallas, Croatia were on the pitch at least 2 minutes before England came out, so it's a bit of a
tactic.
I don't know, maybe it is.
England have the luxury of an incredible bench. Will that be telling in the second half?
It could be, but I think if you have the wrong interpretation also with the right players, then nothing will really change. I think the problem or the challenge of England now is to make sure the wingers get the ball at the right time, at the right speed, so they can do the 1v1.
In the game against Croatia, Thomas Tuchel made changes at halftime. The way I see it now, he's made no changes today.
It's not about the players. I was just writing that. It's not about the players. It's about the interpretation of the game. That needs to change, and I think that's what Tuchel actually fixed, hopefully, for the boys.
To talk us through the second half, back to you, Stu Holden, John Strong.
And Jules, certainly what did change early in the second half was an England goal. It was 2-2 at the break with Croatia. Jude Bellingham scored to put England ahead, a lead they would never relinquish. 1 minute, 25 seconds into the second half. And what's the conversation from Ghana right now? Because they start right now the second half in a wonderful position, knowing how incredible a point would be to their hopes in the tournament. What's their mindset and approach?
A continuation of belief. This group and this team, now 45 minutes done, they've got real belief. They can go all the way here and get a draw, maybe can snatch a win.
Second half underway. It's past 5 p.m. here in Massachusetts. And past 9 o'clock in the evening in Accra, Ghana. And just past 10 o'clock tonight in London. No changes from either side. Winner of this game clinches a spot in the next round. If it's a draw, neither clinch yet. Scenarios for both teams where they could, in fact, by the end of the night. And the other game in the group coming up in Toronto next on Fox. Know for sure they are winning the group. Jeff Shreves is with us here in Foxborough as well. Jeff, what's the word from the England camp?
Well, Anthony Barry, Thomas Tuchel's assistant, just gave his half-time interview, and he said it was an okay performance in the first half, but they're obviously well aware of the way that Ghana play. He said, in fact, they seem to be 10 or 11 metres deeper than they were against their last opponents, but the watchword is very much patient. They know they've got to be patient, but overall, he said it was an okay performance.
Stu, how hard is that to remain patient in a game like that?
Incredibly. Because what the opponent wants is what I talked about a little bit in the first half. They want you to lull into a sense of confidence and carelessness where you start taking a couple liberties. Maybe you dribble in to spaces that you shouldn't. Then the ball turns over and they can hit you the other way. I think Clarence brings up an interesting point too in the studio, in that coaches can only do so much at a point, and they can only give you a foundation and principles, but at the end of the day, it is on, especially in this type of structure now, for the players to find ways to solve this defensive set from Ghana, to try things, to beat players off the dribble. You need little moments of individual brilliance, and certainly from an English perspective, a lot of that is out wide. But you also know as a player now, if you're Madueke and Anthony Gordon, you've got maybe 10-15 minutes before it's going to be Saka, Rashford, Rogers, players like that who will come in, and if you can't find a way to score a goal in this game.
Already some frustrated body language there from Madueke. That's how the standings look right now. Still hard running by Jed Spence there. He gets that loose ball, back heel off of Inaki Williams for England to keep it with a throw-in. Would it be a disaster for England if this finishes a draw?
Not a disaster by any means. I mean, I'm sure back home in England it would be. Semenyu's got space here.
It's going to come to all the way wide Semenyo's going to pick it up. Pickford thought about coming for it. Semenyo's got option in the middle. It's a terrific open field tackle by guess who? Jude Bellingham. Back into the middle by Partey. Semenyo can't get past Reece James. Jordan still with his head bandaged after that collision in the first half with James. Sanaya crossing in. Ayew too tall for him. James able to deal with this bouncing ball there. And Bellingham trying to run away from Sibo. Couldn't make the connection with Madueke. And remember, we saw it there from studio right at the end of the half. It was one of the Ghana assistants who was barking at Jude Bellingham because he came flying in late on a tackle right at the end of the half.
That's a terrifically timed tackle, see, as well. Because Semenyo is trying to actually nutmeg him and ends up catching the calf muscle of Jude Bellingham's right leg. But that was a 40-yard sprint back he had made with Semenyo to be able to make that tackle. Jude Bellingham was the driver force in the second half, especially against Croatia. He set the tone for this team with some of his running from midfield. I wonder if he's trying to set a little bit of an intensity.
Sanaya is going to bring that down to Jackson. Oh, take the deflection. It was behind Semenyo, who was on the back post. That might have been the best look all game for Ghana. But it has upped the energy in the building for sure. Scan the QR code on the screen. Vote for your Michelob Ultra Superior Player of the Match. And the top the other way, Anthony Gordon can't get to it in time.
Now look back at this one. Sanaya just sneaks in. Anthony Gordon, you've got to do better there because he sees the man to his right, but doesn't get his body across him and allows Sanaya just to sneak in behind. And then I think Jed Spence is the one who ends up just getting a slight touch as that ball was about to be squared across. They had a wide open man at the back post. And the performance you see from Ghana right now is that they feel a little bit of belief when they're going forward. They're putting more numbers into the attack. So they themselves have started to grow in confidence in this match. The longer this goes 0-0, this favors Ghana.
This is why you go on and hire Carlos Queiroz. This is why you put him in charge of your team, to create a team that can play in this way, that can have this structure and this strength. Still 40 minutes to go in Foxborough. And going into halftime, Bellingham returns some words back to the Ghana bench. Queiroz was chirping at him for a while. Let's see if that ball is back up here in the second half. At this point in the game, 6 days ago in Dallas, there were 5 goals scored. Very, very different day. There's tripped up.
A large part of Tuchel's emphasis for the progression of this English team from the Southgate era to the Tuchel era is going to play this one short.
Madueke from Rice. Ghana weren't paying attention. They were getting set to defend it, and then it just breaks down.
And those two teammates at club level know each other really well. Just Rice had made a great run. The pass came too late. What Madueke was trying to do was draw in Mensah to be able to then lay it to Rice in front of him. But the way the pass is good, the timing wasn't good either, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Inside, they'll get rid of it long. Anderson won the initial header. Sibo brings it down. Mensah for Jordan Ayew. Able to return for Mensah. From Semenyo. Tackle out for a Ghana throw. One prior meeting, it's going to be taken quickly in. And Reece James was alert. That ball stayed in play. He prevented it from being a corner. He prevented it from being a great opportunity. Or did he? Now the decision does indeed come. Perhaps via a quick video review that it is a corner for Ghana. Just their second of the game.
And to be taken in front of the huge pocket of Ghanaian right from where this... Oh, that's a hard call, isn't it? Because while you might think that that is out, the entire ball has to go out. Sometimes the plane in which that angle is, but it's led to this corner.
Jordan Ayew swings it in. Bounces all the way through. Put back in by Saya. Pickford tracking. Closer contact. Free kick England.
It's clearly a foul here. Also, would have been offside. Just a little late to get back on that line. England doing well when the ball went back, really stepping up and forcing Ghana into an offside position.
They remind the Thursday on Fox, the United States facing Turkey, looking for that perfect record in the group stage. Our coverage begins at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Live here on Fox from Los Angeles. The U.S. will start to find out over the next few days who that opponent will be on the 1st of July in Santa Clara, California, the round of 32. Opportunity with a win to then go back to Seattle in that incredible atmosphere from a few days ago for the round of 16. If they could win that, it would be a quarterfinal, the second ever. That would be back in Los Angeles. It's knocked down awkwardly. Bellingham picks it up, draws some contact. It's kept in play. Partey prevents the corner. Gonna get it clear. Anderson. Awkward collision there with Sebo. It's a free kick for England. And Harry Kane wanting to go quick there. Maybe he's draw a yellow card much as anything else.
Yeah, not a penalty. Opoku doing a good job there getting his body in front. And Jude Bellingham was trying to take that first touch with him, with the momentum to get inside, but Opoku read the play well. The two center backs between Opoku and Majiti are having a good game.
Madueke hooks it in. No one anywhere close to it wearing white.
Well, we've now got Thomas Tuchel up off his touchline. A lot of talk right now, and really animated Thomas Tuchel. The most animated I've seen him all game. I think he's been fairly patient to that point. He's screaming at Anthony Gordon, screaming at Gahey and Jed Spence on this near side. Now, they have the unfortunate part of being on the coach's side.
That makes a difference, doesn't it?
Typically, you're the first one to get that type of conversation, but I've got to think he's not going to wait too much longer to make some changes and mix this up. I do think the way Ghana are playing especially, you don't need two holding midfielders. You're trying to get Declan Rice further up the field, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go with Rodgers potentially as well, to go back with that 2-10s look like he had in the second half against Croatia at a point. But you can start to take a little bit more risk as long as you maintain the defensive structure behind the ball.
Madueke cut off, and that'll be Ghana's throw. Good work by Gideon Mensah.
But yeah, Saka, Rashford, Rodgers. I don't think you're going to have to wait too long to get into this game.
It's too far for Semenyo to control. Remarkably, no shots on goal for either team. No saves made for either goalkeeper. This is the first game of this tournament so far, which neither team had a shot on goal in the first half. Gordon, great back heel. Jed Spence on the run. Cuts it in. Rice. Anthony Gordon. Into Andrew. Bellingham gets it away. Now Madueke. Took two different deflections before it was popped in the air by Ajete. Great touch by Rice to hold it in. Gordon. That's the first shot of the game. That's the first save of the game by Benjamin Asare.
But it just come down this left side where Thomas Tuchel was talking to Gordon and Spence, and the three of them really slashing, creating a little bit of unbalance in that Ghanaian defense. Eventually it comes out to the far side, but you've got yellow shirts getting in front of the ball once again, blocking the first shot, and then even that last one putting pressure on the man that is taking the shot for a fairly comfortable save from Asare. Look at this first one. Look at that, laying out. I mean, it has been time after time. And when they finally get a clean striking goal, it's right into the hands of Benjamin Asare. So commendable team defense and a commitment to the way that they want to play still from this Ghanaian team. Can they do it for 90 minutes though?
Gordon for Rice. Harry Kane. Jet Spence crossing in. Madueke brings it down at the chest, hooks it into space. Can he get back to it? There's a Poku sliding across it, cleared out for a throw. England upping the tempo, upping the energy, getting a response from their fans here in Foxborough. Nice tackle away. Fiorenci for a play in the space. Here they go. Iñaki Williams. Jet Spence defending. Fiorenci in the middle, takes the ball. Was it a clean tackle by Jude Bellingham? It was, says Saeed Martinez.
How is that?
Now Anthony Gordon. And they want a long overlapping run. Gordon couldn't get through. That young man was shown on the video board a moment ago, holding the World Cup trophy, and got a huge roar from the fans. He's scoring again for England. Sanaya defending. In for Bellingham. Bellingham crossing in. Jete does enough to get rid of it. England will hold it in. Gordon to the byline. Gordon gets the cross away, but he couldn't wrap his foot around it, but he is fouled. It's a free kick coming. Anthony Gordon is down in pain. Yellow card coming out. It's Iñaki Williams.
He ends up catching the left leg just of Gordon right there. He kind of breaks down the back of his leg, and it is going to be a free kick for England. I'm interested to see where this ball placement ends up being. Declan Rice is trying to come 5 more yards inside, which would be a smart play, because, and actually he's going to get it. I thought the foul was closer to the end line there, which would have played more as a corner. And this angle actually gives him more of a chance to really, if he wants, to shoot towards that back post and put some pressure on Asari's goal.
Instead it's a cross and a back post to a wide open. The header was blocked. That was Anderson. It's out for a corner on the other side.
He gets a great look at it, all the bodies stacked on top of the goal where they thought that might come, and instead Elliot Anderson drifts to the back post, trying to head it down into the goal, and Sebo just standing there strong. They will block that one away, and he's down after that block.
Ghana preparing multiple substitutions right now. Half an hour to go in Foxborough. Declan Rice to take the 4th England corner. Now swinging ball, Anderson again. That one's over.
Second time in a row they find Anderson, and it's just a late challenge. GT coming across again, getting his body in strong. Not a foul. Elliot Anderson had a good look. He's trying to snap his body, get his body around it to head it on goal. But a strong challenge again from the Ghanaian center back.
Well, jump by Anderson. Kane steers it wide to Anthony Gordon. Gordon uses the runner Spence to drive it inside. Richie is shouting and saying it should be Ghana's throw, and it is. Kane, big tackle right in front of the referee. Kane is down in pain. England free kick.
That's a late challenge from Partey. Not sure why he feels the need to make that challenge. You can see Kane's trying to cut the ball away from him. It's away from goal. Just comes sliding out. I think he'd already made it up with his mind up that he was going to come out and be aggressive in that moment, because this is a really good spot for a free kick now for Declan Rice.
There's James standing nearby as well. Still Ghana preparing 2 substitutions.
You got Anthony Gordon floating behind the wall there, maybe trying to make himself available as well to peel away, try to get one of those guys in the 2-man wall. But
Nice will hook it into the traffic. Anderson off the volley, it's knocked down. Gordon trying to get under control. Rolls to the far side, shot through traffic, ends up well off. Madueke.
And you got a look there at a couple of subs that are getting ready. It looks like O'Reilly, Saka, 2 of them. This would have been interesting to see if Jude Bellingham was offside on that initial shot that came in, but either way, it's not going to matter. Ball ping-ponging around. Madueke with the left foot again, trying to pick out the far post. And again, not testing the goal, Vasari.
Ghana still holding those subs. The Ghanaian fans making all the noise in this stadium on that dead ball. That's going to be brought back for a foul against Ghana. And what they thought was a promising moment to open it up to that far side. It looks like activity on England's bench now as well. Durenchi's a bit slow to get up. Fatawu and Prince Kodena Adu are the 2 that will be coming on. Durenchi's going to be looked at. England might be making their substitutions as well. Saka is up. Nico O'Reilly as well, we thought might be coming in at the half. And the players once again will take an informal little hydration break. Gordon and Spence, England's left side, will leave the field.
And expect O'Reilly from this left back position, especially how deep Ghana are. He's going to drift inside. He's going to try to run beyond that back line of Ghana. And expect him to play very much as a left winger. And actually, because of those changes, Saka has gone to his familiar right wing position. Madueke's come to this near side now. So I think he'll play a little bit more inside O'Reilly with a little bit more freedom to overlap and try to create advantages on both sides. But they're going to try to feed these guys early. Get the ball to Saka, get him running at the back line of Ghana, keeping the pressure on. And especially from a Ghanaian perspective, you're making a couple changes, trying to freshen it up. I was one of the players coming out. But that means some of the responsibilities and roles change. So how quickly can they get up to the speed of this game and make sure they stay connected in the way that they have through 66 minutes of this game so far.
Iñaki Williams, Jordan Ayew are the 2 players taken off. So each team has made 2 of the available 5 substitutions. As you can see at the top of the screen, they each have 3 remaining substitutions. Now for Saka trying to get him involved immediately. It was well dealt with out of the air by Gideon Mensah. A lot of space for Kwasi Sibo to run into. Declan Rice closes down that space very quickly. Can't take him off the ball. Outside the box. And the indication on the field from Zane Martinez is a foul against Ghana and a free kick for England.
And he's onside. Others running for this one. Oh, wow. Does Pickford get any touch on the ball here? It's hard to see. And he just cleans him out. It's going to be a really interesting decision. Because he just completely misses it. This will be the best look. And he wipes him out. So he cleans out any opportunity he has to get the ball. That should be a foul the other way.
Mark Clattenburg, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Stewie. I think once the goalkeeper doesn't make contact on the ball and he makes contact with a forward, it's therefore a free kick. The VR cannot get involved because it's outside, and it would only be a yellow card to the goalkeeper anyways because there is a covering defender.
Yeah, that's exactly right, is that it was not a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, and that there was two defenders there that would have covered. And because of that, they can't go back and review it and flip. That was absolutely and should have been a Ghanaian free kick on top of the box, but they had the two English defenders covering. But a really interesting and a nervy moment again for England in the back there.
Neil Urici just being allowed back on. Ghana's been playing with 10 for the last minute as Urici was looked at after taking a knock a moment ago. Anderson, good read, good step there, but it's one quickly back by O'Reilly.
It's a little turnover. Ghana trying to step out with the ball, and then they get caught. So now you're scrambling a little defensively. Kane's first real look, his first shot certainly at goal. And it was a comfortable save. I was trying to drag it to the far side. Good positioning from Asari. Having the defenders in front of him, he was able to get an early jump that way.
Monte took a kick there at the end of that. The referee saw it, but said play on because England had possession. We are expecting a hydration break in the second half at the next dead ball.
Wi-Fi here.
Okay. Opens it up wide. Bukayo Saka. His chance to run at Gideon Mensah. Get some support from Sibo.
There is a real hush around the stadium, isn't there? I take my headset off just to be sure. It's not a lot of chanting. English fans waiting, trying to maybe get them going now.
Madueke gets the cross in. Saka rising up, couldn't get over it.
Madueke gets two defenders, but it's too late to cover. He sees the space that he has to get to that end line. Puts a good ball. Saka rising at the back post, just can't get over the top of it. We'll see if he can get more involved the other side of the hydration break.
Hydration break now, and a very fascinating fourth quarter of the game to come in Foxborough. No score between England and Ghana.
The FIFA World Cup is back, America.
Fans, please stay hydrated. Water refilling stations are available at 3 locations throughout the venue. Visit misting stations to lower body temperature. Visit the Atlanta United Lounge with the Georgia Power Misters and report any signs of heat illness to event staff.
This is not the show they signed up to come see here today here in Foxborough.
No. And we'll see if they get a show in the last part of this match. A lot of intensive conversations going on the English side during that hydration break. You see some of them now. I think at this point you want to get back out on the field. You want to keep going. He's trying to really encourage right now, going around clapping, patting his teams on the back. Down to our right now, the Ghanaian team getting a lot of treatment, a lot of massages. But still the party goes on in the stands. They've been at it from the first minute. They've loved what they've seen from their team.
England played indoors in their first game. Ghana in Toronto, it was kind of like this. It was rainy and cool. But yeah, like you said, a lot of the Ghanaian players are getting stretched out, getting looked at. Changes now for England. And Martin Rogers will come on. Eze as well will come on. Anderson is off. And interestingly, rather than the last game where Bellingham stayed on when Rogers took the field, Jude Bellingham comes off.
Well, this was the change I was potentially expecting to see, which is bringing off one of either Anderson or Rice. You're going to keep Rice out there. So now you've got the two players, Eze and Rogers, are going to play almost as dueling tens. And this is going to be a three in the back at times for England. They still want to make sure they still keep the structure when one of either Reece James or Riley goes forward. It's going to be a lot on Rice. You're not going to see him as high up as he was when Anderson was in the game. He's the guy now that has to be the anchor. But can Eze and can Rogers find a little combination, maybe to free up Harry Kane a little bit more?
One remaining substitution for England. And as you said, this in the context of the tournament is not a disaster for England. It's more in the context of the way they came out of the England game, the good vibes from everyone, singing Wonderwall, the feeling that maybe everything was going too well, everything was going too right. This would be a massive achievement for Ghana, and it would put them on the verge of a first knockout stage appearance since 2010. 4 points tends to be the magic number in these situations where you're comparing third-place finishers. Not a guarantee, goal difference comes into play, but it's a great number to aim for. Bukayo Saka had the last chance before the hydration break a moment ago. Tries the double team, Martin Rogers on the ball for the first time. Poku all the way out wide to defend him, and Rogers spinning in this way and that. And it's a great recovery by Poku. Sliding block of the cross in behind for a corner.
You can see a man has been waiting for another opportunity on the field. Came on, had a good impact, was really lively off the bench against Croatia. He's straight into the game. Really dynamic, aggressive. Drives down to that end line, wins another corner. They've been starting to get some better looks from some of these corners. Harry Kane starting a little bit deeper from that little mark in front of him. They're trying to free up him to get an opportunity for a header like he had against Croatia.
Quarter hour to go in Foxborough. Declan Rice out swinging corner, popped in the air. Madueke couldn't do anything with it, and he's not going to get a corner out of it either. It was an awkward sideways clearance they're going to get away with.
And the right decision too, came off Madueke last.
Benjamin Asari is playing all the tricks in the book. Is it a free kick? Is it a goal kick? Where am I getting a ball from? You want me to take it here, ref? Okay. That's how it looks. Panama and Croatia next here on Fox from Toronto. As they put that one on, and it's going to eventually run through to Asari as Kane bundles to the back of a Ghanaian defender.
And this is what England see in this game against Ghana. It's almost identical to what they're keeping it in.
Saka kept it in, so the referee told the goalkeeper, sorry, just try the ball out of play if your guy's down. He threw the ball that way, Saka came to get it, but if Sinai is down, he's going to have to come off the field for a minute.
And he and Harry Kane exchanging some pleasantries right now off the ball. Ghana doing a great job frustrating this English group. They're playing the game the way they wanted to play the game, not the way England wanted to play the game. That's a credit to the style that they have played throughout this game. And it might not be the prettiest, it might not be what you want to see, but they don't care. All they care about is points and a result. And they are edging closer to getting a point and being on 4 points in this group, which would just be absolutely massive for them.
You see the improvised bandage on the side of the temple of Caleb Urenchi. He scored the winning goal for Ghana, 90+5, latest regulation goal in Ghana's World Cup history last week in the win over Panama. He brought that down at the chest, and two Ghanaian players collided trying to control it.
And just to finish the point I was going to make is, this is very similar to what England will see against Panama. So if they struggle here today, they're going to struggle in that game too. That is a team that does not give up a lot of goals. And depending on what happens with them in the second game of their group match, which as you said comes up later, what position is the table in? Do England need to win that game? Do they? It's going to be all fascinating, but there's still some time left for them to find a goal here.
That's it. Bumped off it. Here come down the other way. Looking for Tyler.
Over. It's not a foul. Great work, and then is this onside as well? Yes. Ends up taking too many touches, allows the tackle to come from Konza, and then it's, as you said, Semenyo blocks him off the ground, putting this one in the back of the net. And there's a shout potentially of a foul there, because Konza ends up making contact with getting no ball, but then Adu's still on his feet. So I think the argument could be that he still has the opportunity to make a play on that ball. But that's an interesting one right there, and it's still being held right now.
Armando Villarreal from the United States, his third World Cup as a video assistant referee, second Men's World Cup. He was also down under 3 years ago at the Women's World Cup in that role. He says, check complete, we play on.
Oh, right on the line. Every time these balls turn over for England, Ghana, this is what they want to do. We've been saying from the very first minute. They're okay defending to frustrate you, to take a chance, and then they just commit to that counterattack. And England have been under so much pressure. That last shot there ends up hitting Semenyo. What would have gone in the back of the net would be 1-0 Ghana. 10 to play plus added time. Wow.
Runaway kick. Bringing now under some pressure from Yorenchi. Konza will walk it forward. He now, Candace wants it lifted in the box towards him, instead of towards Saka. It's headed away by Mensah. It's held in by Reece James. Saka comes to get it. But he came from an offside position in so doing, and the play's over. Ghana will take every moment they can off of these restarts, and whereas Thomas Tuchel have been adding layers, Carlos Queiroz has been losing layers in the second.
Here's another look at it. It was too far for Pickford to come initially, so he ends up staying on his line. It's a great last-ditch challenge. That's what I'm saying. There's no touch on the ball by Konza there before Adu gets that shot off. And then that was Semenyo blocking that one from going in the back of the net.
Fans sing as the England team carries it forward. 9 minutes plus stoppage time to go here in Foxborough. Long switch to Saka. Mensah, immediate company. Bukayo Saka, it's wonderful work. He's going to win a free kick out of it. And a little bit of pushing and shoving here, and wrestling over the loose ball to come and place it and set up the free kick. Marcus Rashford in the wings, preparing to enter. Came off the bench to score England's fourth in Dallas. The two Arsenal title winners will have a conversation. Plus stoppage time. Bukayo Saka will hook this one in. So right back out by Gideon Mensah, at least not all the way out. Was that a foul? There it was. She was trying to escape out and was being pulled back. Here comes England's fifth and final substitution. Nani Madueke will make way for Marcus Rashford. Rashford's goal was his fourth in his last 6 World Cup games. Getting back to the terrific tournament that he had in Qatar. Will he become an England hero today, break his deadlock, continue the perfect start to the tournament, clinch England's spot in the knockout round with a game to go? As they are first with a loose ball and just draws the contact off of your end sheet. Even fans in Dallas at this point in the game, they were bouncing around, they were singing, they were in party mood. It was anything else today here in Foxborough. Nico O'Reilly gonna get there, can he cut it back inside? No, draws contact, but not enough, no foul. Now long ball the other way, Jordan Pickford 40 yards out of his goal.
Cool as you like.
He saw that moment coming and was well positioned to deal with it. There you see the discrepancy in the numbers.
Saka was in possession. He was screaming for this ball. He wanted the ball. He wants it quickly.
Kane not going to get there in time, but his pressure forced an errant clearance, and it's recycled. Marcus Rashford first touch. Rashford hooks it in, knocks sideways. Tyler was trying to escape on O'Reilly. And he's tripped up, free kick on him.
Great work from one of the second half subs. Fatawu, the track back first of all, takes it deep in his own end. He's facing his own goal, spins around O'Reilly, then just does a little quick combination play with his feet, skips past Rashford, draws the foul. Asari's coming over, as you said, saying, oh, wait, where's the free kick? Where's it here? Okay, another minute off the clock for them as they inch towards the final whistle.
And Abdul Fatawu plays at Leicester City. He's one of the England-based players in this Ghana team. How much are they loving this opportunity against these big Premier League stars to represent their country, their flag, their people? And they're trying to frustrate one of the favorites to win this World Cup. 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. England out of subs. Wide for Marcus Rashford. Rashford again, hooks it, a dangerous looking ball. It's a strong header one. That was a Poku. It's held in by Rice. It's steered wide for Saka. Saka driving inside. Saka save! It was a strong arm by Asari to get that much distance on the save. And then Sanaya helped get it fully clear. Third stop for him.
And the crowd responding. The English crowd.
Rice, O'Reilly, Rashford knocks it down. Kane picks it up. Rogers, James, into the net. Kane missed the target.
And here's the difference now for England. You're bringing the balls into the box, but now you've got more players in the box attacking some of these center backs from Ghana. So here comes O'Reilly. He's got height at the back post. Look at that leap. Redirects, it comes off the underside, and then it falls to Kane. You think, well, that's 1-0. And he just gets underneath it. This is the one from Saka. You talk about the right hand from Asari. Boy, see, that went about 30 yards off his hands. And he's shielded from it by the two defenders in front of him. He's going to his left. Excellent push-off. Gets his feet set. It's a terrific save. And the best we have seen, really, from an English perspective, but it all started even with the right on this left side with Rashford just bending one in. You've got 3 players now attacking the ball because they took off one of those defensive midfielders. And now the crowd, here they come again.
Sanaya, the right back, is off. Rojo Pepper Opong is on. His World Cup debut comes with 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. His country that close to a terrific result, a historic result for them.
Those chances, though, that happen in this, where there's that flurry of momentum, it starts to make you now a little bit more nervous from a Ghanaian perspective. You feel that momentum coming against you, and you start to get even deeper than you've been, and you're missing that. What a ball.
Skips off the wet turf. Saka couldn't control cleanly. England throw. Well, 20 years ago, came to the World Cup for the first time, made the knockout round, did it again in 2010. Have not been back since. It's a giveaway in the middle. Now can they go? Urenchi trying to get in the space and get Adu on the run. Rice defending. So Adu came in late. There was some contact, but England deal with it. Look at very clean all the way back there to pick it up. And Anisko trying to spring the attack. Pepper Opong just on the field dealt with it. England fans will roar. Can they find a way through? 90 seconds plus stoppage time. Rice for Concept. For Gehi. Rashford. A couple dangerous crosses out there on the wing, trying to send another one in. It's dealt with by Ajeti. And Rashford looked at how high he rose there to win that hit over Urenchi, but it's whistled as a foul.
I don't see anything wrong with that. He gets a good early leap, and if anything, Urenchi just on the way down ends up catching him. This is another look. O'Reilly in the box. Talking about his height, 6'4", but that pops out to Kane. That's the guy you want it to fall to, and the guy you would expect to bury it. Just hits on the underside of it. He's trying to come across goal back to the far post. Yeah, the body's blocking it at the near post. Just needs to take it a little bit earlier than he would have liked to allow that ball to fall at a height where he could get his foot up over the top of it.
Semenyo putting his body in there, and the whistle goes for a foul before he shoots off target anyway. This result on its own does not change necessarily the trajectory of England's opportunity to win this World Cup. It changes the conversation, it changes the momentum. They can still rescue it. 6 added minutes. They can still clinch their spot in the next round with a game to go if they can grab a goal. But Ghana could do the same. And that really would change things. Marcus Rashford now. Saka with immediate company from Mensah. Is able to tackle it away strongly.
And what a credit, as we talked throughout this game, to this Canadian team. Can they finish the job, though? You've got an English team that is motivated right now, that is starting to put a little bit of pressure, some space opening up. They're off the field a little bit.
And that allows England to exploit the space in behind that first wave. Rice hooks it in, and it's going to be sent along there. Pepper Opong is sorry. Seemed unsure whether to come forward or not. It's a 5th England corner, 6th England corner, in fact.
Can England do to Ghana what Ghana did to Panama? Finding that late 1-0 victory.
5 minutes to play.
Back post.
Declan Rice. Harry Kane, it was just past him. This time his jump it looked like.
And it's almost like there was a little bit of a miscommunication. That's where they were aiming, the back post. There's Harry Kane trying to come back on and get it. I think he felt he had somebody behind him. Or it's that little nudge in the back from Semenyo. Just a little extension of the forearm. It's a very underrated part of the game. If you can do it in a way without drawing a foul, you really put your opponent off as they're going to jump into that motion. And just goes behind for a goal kick.
Well, Riley skied up there. He does a second time as well to win that header. Rogers battling with Urenchi, strong enough to win the ball out of the air. Trying to get away from Sebo now. It's terrific work by Morgan Rogers. Down in the corner, Rashford hooks it in. Top corner corner. This time Harry Kane right in the middle of the goal, right next to the goalkeeper, Benjamin Asare. Rice swings it in, back post, head pops sideways, back in by Eze. Another quarter. 3 minutes to go. Once again, Asari coming for it. That's a really good, solid punch on it.
Yeah, he was aggressive that time. He saw the last two that were right towards that back post, saw them stack the back post again, and said, I'm going to be aggressive. The flight of that ball, able to get a strong punch on it. But it's gone out for this score, which they've taken all the way back to concert.
On debating bringing an extra defender on the field if they get the chance. Look for Ezri Konsa into the middle for Declan Rice. Rice hooking into that backside. Rogers knocks it down, cleared away in front of Saka. Electing against bringing on an extra man. They're going to go with what they have. They're going to try to ride out the next 2 minutes of this storm. Can England find a way through? As a early ball in, is he going to fall for Saka? Came off a defender. It's going to be an England corner.
This is the one, look at the back post. Gay heads it, would it have gone in or not? You don't take a chance in that part of the field.
Ghana scored their winner last week in the 95th minute. England trying to do to them what Ghana did to Panama. And are they going to make this sub now? They are, in fact, Ghana. After deciding against it momentarily, Rahman will come on.
They've got fingers crossed, toes crossed, you name it. You don't always make subs on defending set pieces because you worry about marks. In this case, they've got all 11 players in the box. They've got numbers. Can they stay with their marks, though?
Prince Adu came on as a sub, comes off as a sub. The outswinging corner, uncontested headers, a foul in there. It's a free kick for Ghana. And there within 1 minute of this result, of this celebration. And of being on the verge, not official yet, of a first knockout stage appearance at a World Cup in 16 years. Benjamin Asari, 3 saves today. In for injury and goal, sends it as long as he can. Is there time enough for one last England attack? Jordan Pickford, got to be careful there with Antoine Semenyo chasing around. Final seconds for England. It's an under-hit pass. Rice was there in time. Semenyo doing all the running, trying to prevent England from even creating this one last chance, or even getting in the attacking half. Pickford sends it long. Still we play. Doesn't find Rashford. Hooked away by Simo. There's the final whistle. They hold England, one of the tournament favorites, to a scoreless draw in Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Big day for Asari, big day for these Ghanaian fans that turned up to support their team. Just an excellent display of togetherness, defending, and a will to hold on against this ultra-talented English team. They hold that attack to a 0. They get a point that could be so big for them.